stream by yourself. It's fun, isn't it? So, this is kind of irregular. Kind of messing around. Not really caring today. I've got a cold. We have had sicknesses of some kind or another in this house for like about a part of a week, 2 weeks at this point, I guess. So, I'm kind of sick. A bit of a headache. My chair's crooked, so we're gonna fix that. I don't know if anyone's available. I don't know if anyone's gonna show up. Put chat in our Discord, but I don't know. Maybe putting on the camera makes me feel some level of accountability. I hope the microphone's working for one. But there's no real way to know until someone tags in and tells me they can't hear me. So, I'm just on here right now just to talk. Maybe I'll talk for 15 minutes, maybe I'll take for 20 minutes. Who knows? But I have a headache, my nose has been running, I've been drinking so much tea, and I don't know, I got tired of being miserable on the couch. Oh, hey Meredith, glad you can hear me. That's good. I thought you have to change anything, I have to get up and do it myself, so that's why we're here right now. We're going to change probably I'm going to have to get up and do something anyway in a minute, because I'm going to have to plug my computer in. But I didn't want to stare at a black screen, so we're on this camera view right now, and I didn't feel like messing with anything. So, yeah, why are we here? So, the title says a bit. I've been going through my usual seasonal depression thing right now. Melanie definitely thinks I have that. Would not deny it. Definitely think it's a good potential. But, so, it's, it's that time of month / week / whatever at this point. I don't know, just sickness is speaking, but where you go and are like, what are you doing with your life? I'm in that point right now, so I'm thinking about things, thinking too much about things. Yesterday was a really brain static day. I was thinking about so many things that I was like feeling just overwhelmed by too many thoughts. So, why are we talking about this? I watched some videos earlier today where they're about this one guy, this one channel I really enjoy. It's called Daryl Talks Games, I think, or Daryl Talks Media. It used to be called Psych of Play. It's this guy who originally used to look at like psychology in video games, and then he expanded it out to like more than just that. I think it's called Daryl Talks Games. Pretty sure. But anyway, so I like watching him. He has a great like voice presence. He has really good video quality, and I like things he brings up in video games are good. So he did this thing like a year ago about how to tackle your backlog. And what gamer, especially an adult gamer, does not have a backlog, a video game backlog? It's like, I don't know necessarily a curse thing, but I think like everyone has like, oh hey, I like 20 or so games. I'm gonna have to break for tea often, by the way. My throat's killing me, but I want to talk. So I'm going to probably break for tea repeatedly as I speak, but we'll see how this goes. Oh, still really hot. Just poured it. So he has this thing called like how to attack your backlog, and I've seen a lot of videos. I watched many on how to do it because I have a pretty sizable backlog at this point. Alan keeps telling me to stop buying video games, and I'm thinking about this because we just passed Black Friday. I'm buying a lot of things on not a lot. I've gotten like 6 things on sale, and they're things that were already on my list. They're not new games necessarily. They're just games I already like Pikmin 4. I got Pikmin 4 for like $30 from Walmart. Because I want to play that at some point. Stuff like that. So I'm getting new games, and, we're trying to fit them on our shelf in our room that I feel just keeps expanding, and Melanie's like, don't buy any more games. I'm like, well, how can you not? We've had a lot of really big releases this year, this fall alone. And so the issue is, like, I have so many games. Video games are a huge part of my identity. I've been thinking about this. But it's going to be... I have a cold. I'm going to be even more digressive than normal, so try and keep up as much as you're able to. Or just put me on the background of whatever task you're doing and try your best to, like, do this. Jury's still out on the bingo board of how many different things I can cover in the course of, like, one conversation. I think that, like, if I put that on, it would be, like, self-doubt, Fire Emblem, Mallie mentioning something that happened in preschool. It'd be a fun bingo board to make. Anyway, so to backlogs. I've been thinking about this a lot because I've been thinking about like what do I want to do. I just I have moments where I get low for a while. I get overwhelmed, or I think about things too much. Probably need to be medicated of some sort, at least for like the attention stuff. But I was thinking about like what do I like to do. I'm crocheting a lot. I do that. I enjoy it. But I'm also there's a little bit of a pressure on it right now. I'm not enjoying it as much as I normally do sometimes because we have these markets in a month, which feel like a weight over your head because we're both a little stressed. Me and Madeline are both a little stressed about it. And she's worried we're not gonna have enough stuff to sell, which is fair. My stuff sells, but I only make it so fast. Like a lot of stuff I've made in the last few weeks has been for an order. One of which very close to lost my patience with this morning. That Fun Time Freddy I worked on. It's not hard until I have to do that little Bonnie hand puppet, and it's so tiny, and the yarn's fray, and it just drives me nuts. So I'm not making that one again for a while. I'll make I would be willing to make a Funtime Foxy because he doesn't have a hand puppet. I have not made a Foxy at all yet, but, things to happen one day. Oh gosh, we're never going to get to the actual purpose of the stream if I keep going on like this. So I'm thinking about things. I like crocheting. I would like to draw. I would love to draw some Unisana's anniversary art at some point. I like to write. I want to use how I can write somehow. People tell me I'm such a good writer, and that I have stuff like that. Which is, can we just digress for a moment on the such a good writer thing? Is that like I don't know how to take that compliment sometimes because I'm kind of like everyone's like you're such a good writer, but I'm like, when's the last time I wrote something meaningful? When's the last time I wrote something either for me or for someone else? Like, most people who listen to my stuff and, like, don't realize I write so much Pokemon stuff. I occasionally write D&D stuff, but I write so much stuff for my Pokemon characters, in their world building, with their prompts, and I'm like, you don't even know how much stuff I write. But the stuff I would be willing to share with other people, like original story stuff, or I write one-shots, little snippets. I think the last thing I felt proud of writing was my one I wrote for my conductor's NPCs in my campaign. And even then, that story, as much as I'm proud of it, I still worry. I'm like, will this make context outside of, people who've played our campaign? Anyway, so to try and get back to the main point, I'm thinking about the things I like to do. And me and I were watching over the weekend different retrospectives. We watched this retrospective on Ghost Whisperer, which was very good. Just surprising that there's like not any of that. I feel it was a fairly impactful show for its time. And we were like looking up, and we watched something on Supernatural. But I'm gonna hold one of my things while I'm doing this. So we watched something on Supernatural, and everyone does something on Supernatural. It was a big thing at the time. It was the whole Super Hulock phenomenon. But like, there's nothing on Criminal Minds. 15 seasons of a show, which I really enjoy. I watched for a while with my grandparents and my mom. But you can't find anything that's a retrospective on Criminal Minds. It's just either pointing out the flaws in the show or pointing out how it goes and talks about like America being a military state or whatever. Like, exactly, Criminal Minds is a good show. I think because it's innately built different than most crime shows. Like, did I hang on so much in Criminal Minds versus like NCIS? And it's, by the way, I've seen 4 different kinds of NCIS because that's all that's usually on TV when I go and visit my grandparents. And me and my grandpa will just sit and, like, I'll crochet or sleep, and he'll sit there and sleep, and I'll make sure he like eats lunch. But I've watched like 4 variants of NCIS. Can rank them now, and I know the characters well enough to like follow along with it. But like, why I enjoy the shows sometimes, but I'm like, why does it feel different than like Criminal Minds does? So like, I'm like wondering about like, why are there no retrospectives on meaningful plots? But I think there's like another element to it about Criminal Minds is it's the psychology. That's what my mom always said she loved about, which I do like as well. Who doesn't? It's why we're interested in like those different like shows that'll go and be like into the mind of serial killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, and what's stuff like. Although to be fair, that's also a weird part of Netflix that we're not going to discuss. The people who love the things about serial killers and making serial killers sexy in some way, and I'm just like, okay, we won't talk about that. But I think it's the mentality of going into it. But what makes like Criminal Minds palatable over time as opposed to NCIS And I think the thing that is intrinsically different is that at the end of the day, there's a very strong heart to Criminal Minds. Tea break. Sometimes I just want to breathe over this to clear my nose out. My gosh. I wonder how well you can hear that over the microphone. I don't know how high our microphone is right now, honestly. But, so Criminal Minds has heart. It's a family at the end of the day. You have all these easy selected and easily, digestible tropes, stereotypes, and stuff like that, cliches of the characters. But I feel it's a very strong family, and they have to do that because they deal with some very serious and, like, dark subject matter. But at the end of the day, the thing that, like, the through line to it is the plot, how these different people in this team carry for each other, the fact that they're kind of a found family, what they're all doing in their own lives, they're, like, there's a lot of heart to it. And you don't quite get the same thing in the other ones. I watched the original NCIS, I watched some of the New Orleans, Los Angeles one I did really like. I want to watch that one all the way through. I enjoyed that one as well. They got a great bromance going on between the two main characters in NCIS Los Angeles, so let me tell you. And I've watched New Orleans, and they just don't all have the same family vibe to it. They don't have this vibe of people who do genuinely carry each other, or people who have seen the darkness, like Garcia and Criminal Minds. Big example of that. I remember Hotch has this quote about her somewhere in the show where she fills her room with color to remind herself to smile when the horrors fill her screens. I'm like, that is a good representation of Criminal Minds as a show in a lot of ways. It has these homey moments, it has these sweet moments, it has these moments of the goodness of humanity, usually the beginning and ending of each episode, to remind you after you see all the horrors and stuff like that, but like, hey, there's good things too. And that's why I think it makes Criminal Minds unique. Anyway, tangent. There's going to be a couple of those. That's why I didn't plug in my computer right off the bat, because my computer would have died by the time I got to what I wanted to talk about. So, no retrospective in Criminal Minds. And maybe I'm going to have to write that at some point. I own all 15 seasons on DVD. And I can determine where most of them are based on Reed's haircut, because that's the one thing that seems to change every single time. Most of the time you can tell what season you're in just based on the characters' haircuts. But I might change that at some point. Maybe I'll go and rewatch the show and do a retrospective of it. Which kind of brings me to my second point, is that I want to make videos, I think, at some point. I'm not great with video editing. I will. If I have time to do it, I will do it. It's not something I'm against, but if there's a need out there, you fill it, and that's how you get people to watch you, right? As we struggle and try and get this Twitch channel rolling, and just, I can't play the algorithm game. I can barely get myself going most days. This whole chat is going to be about my, me trying to tackle a backlog. I'm like, I can't do all the other stuff. The things that, you're actually quite good at, like the marketing and the social posts and the framing and stuff like that. I'm just like, I could do it, but to spin it back around, it comes back to the thing that they were talking about in this guy's videos about backlogs. Is that you can't turn it into a destination. You can't turn it into that a goal to reach, because otherwise then you lose track of the journey there. And the thing is, at the end of the day, I love video games so much because it helps me understand the world. It helps me keep going sometimes, and it's something that always has brought me joy. And, it was a competition a lot of the time, so, I still read a lot, and I did a lot of reading as a child, but I think the thing is that, video games were I can read and also get, haptic feedback that feeds my, need for that in ADHD stuff. What's better than that? So, I want to do videos at some point. I don't know where to start, honestly. And, I hear my mom telling me about, a friend of hers, a mom, whose husband goes and makes, a significant amount of profit just off the ad revenue of his, videos about, the history of ships and shipwrecks. And I'm like, what could I find to talk about? My problem is I feel I had a bit of a crisis over the weekend. I was thinking about, I have so many things I like to do, and I keep going between all of them that I feel like I'm never making progress forward, which makes me feel very unsettled. There's gonna be some deep cuts in this one. Not necessarily huge, but like I'm just gonna talk for a little while because I need to do that sometimes. And so there's like a lot of things I like to do, like a retrospective of Chrome Lines. I've for a while wanted to do a like series covering every one of the Fire Emblem games. I would even be down for like because I want to go through them and like replay some of them, and I feel like I can almost justify it more in my mind if I make something out of it, if I'm getting something out of it. So like a retrospective of different series of different games. I definitely want to do a video essay at some point about like Detroit Become Human, because for some reason it's the only narrative choice driven game that I don't see 1001. I don't know yet, honestly, because I think I have about equal audience on both. I mean, to be fair, my account on YouTube, Desklugia, has followers at this point just because it's like 17 years old, but because I made it like when YouTube was starting. Oh gosh, that was middle school, I think, when I originally made that account. And now it's like my username everywhere. Oh gosh, make me feel old. But I don't know where it would be. I could stream it, and I could do YouTube. That's what this stream is about, kind of, is to talk about these things, because I have some ideas. I have some... After I watched... Long story short, I watched this guy's videos, and it gave me some ideas of things I might want to do myself. So, I was looking at things, and I want... Because Melanie was telling me, and I was thinking, like, I want to do... Love to do videos of, like, I write essays and stuff like that. I've written articles. But the problem is, like, I feel like everything I do is in a vacuum sometimes. Like, I write all these stories, or I'll write analyses, or I'll just talk. And I feel like it's in a vacuum. It's in a chamber. I just hear myself, and I want, like, discussion. I want to, I feel like it's great to play things yourself, but I like them to be a social experience. To talk about things and go back and forth. And sometimes I want to talk at someone, and that's just the autism speaking. I want to just talk about the things that interest me sometimes, because it's my way of regulating. But, like, how can I do that is the thing I question myself. So I'm like, I want to do videos, maybe talk about concepts I like. I tried to start a blog. I've not done anything with it. I kind of fell off the wagon because October was hard. So I drafted up some posts on there to be like, okay, let me re-establish the point of this blog, but like I have some article ideas I would like to write that maybe like I could do research with, like I feel that there's a lot of things I want to do, but I don't know how to start them. So this is kind of me trying to start somewhere. So thinking about this backlog thing, this guy was talking about, he went through a thing, which I'm going to bring up in a minute as I got my computer here. Like his plan, like he went, did a social experiment. Like I said, his whole thing is psychology. Okay, gotta take a tea break here. So, I'll be interested though, like if you prefer web, I would, it'd be nice to have it on YouTube and streaming, because I think YouTube is a more accessible platform. But I also would like to have active conversations. I would like to have both if I could. The problem is that most people point out is that like usually you have to build one in order to go to the other. Like you have to have like a significant like audience on YouTube and then you go to streaming, or you have to have a significant streaming audience then you go to YouTube. Or you could be like us and have neither on either side and just continue putting stuff out there. So here's my thought when I talked about it. So he talks about this like plan he has, where he goes for a year. And he check my messages, my dad's in our message board. Oh hey, I can't wait to hear that. Digress again. Melanie sent me a text. There is a huge fire off 401 near Costco. 6 fire trucks and a helicopter. Huh, must have just happened. Can't wait to hear about them from that. That sounds like fun. Anyway, so he has this thing where he tried to like tackle his backlog. My backlog, I think, at this point, let's look at my game tracking app. See what it officially says. To be fair, some of these are repeats. I do have multiple editions of some games. Well, I'm sure Danny's gonna find it pretty soon, unless it just We haven't determined yet if my mom saw it and my dad just missed it, or if it just started as she's got there. So, maybe you'll see. You have to message him and see what he says. So my collection here has 506 entries. A couple of those might be repeats. Again, I do have multiple editions of some games. I think I own every version of Persona 5 that exists. And in the Steelbook edition as well. Love that game. But, so I have like 500 something, at least, games. It's a lot. Not as much as some people do. And granted, the majority of those are physicals. So it's not like, some people have like I've talked to DJ before, and he's like, he has thousands in his Steam library. But I'm like, I think in some ways that doesn't count as much, because I feel when you're doing digital, sometimes you're just buying games that are like a cent, or 10 cents, or $1, or something like that. I always like investing in physical, because, me, tactile senses and stuff like that. I want to feel it and hold my hands. I have great, just memories of coming home with a game and reading the inside material and the flat back when they used to do gaming manuals. I like to hold a physical thing. Also, I've notoriously lived with bad internet, believe it or not, despite how much technology we have in our house. We've definitely had... California taught me to, that online games are usually just not going to work. My mom says that you can... She says it's on 401 South between Midway Baptist Church and Costco. Okay, so if you're coming off Costco on the other side, I guess where Sheetz is, you wouldn't necessarily see it. Although my dad doesn't always pay attention when he drives. So it says it's on the side where the Baptist church is. Interesting. So, back to this... yeah, I know, right? Well, we'll see if he sees it or not. You'll have to let me know. So, back to the backlog thing. So, he did this thing. My mom's gonna keep texting me, and I'll answer that in a second. I'll never finish this point. He did the backlog thing, where he originally did it where, you go through all the games you have. And you try and, you try and pare them down to what you want to do now. Like, what's a now game, what's a later game. What do you have? Digital, physical, whatever, where are new releases. Like, for instance, something that'd be like a mime, for instance, new releases, like Sonic X Shadow Generations came out this year. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Metaphor ReFantazio. Gosh, I want to play that one so bad, but I've not opened it yet because I'm waiting to have... I'm waiting, like on a lot of things. Ace Attorney Investigations came out this year. There's something else. What else came out recently that I started playing? It's in my pile of stuff. I just can't remember what it is because I have a stack of limited editions at this point now because I have not opened them. Anyway, so, you're always going to have stuff to play. And so, his whole thing was that, you organize it down, you try and get it down to a list of things that you can go to in a minute, because the thing that you get stuck on, and I get stuck on, is analysis paralysis. You have too many options, so your brain just doesn't make one. This is something I actually found happening to me recently with crochet stuff. Instead of trying a new pattern and a new item, lately I'm just going to things I already know how to make. That's why I make so many Freddies, or I've been making a lot of potion bottles lately. Is you go back to where you don't have to make a choice. You take an option that you already know the outcome of, so it's easier and your brain doesn't have to, use as much brain power. So, organizing the information is important. And, getting some rudimentary stuff going in. How long does it take to beat this thing? I have a lot of JRPGs, so, figuring out how long it takes to beat them. Because not everyone is considered equal. I want to go back and beat Soul Hackers 2, which I know is significantly shorter than, going to beat Persona 3 would be, which I want to do at some point. Oh, Persona 3 Reload, that was the other one. Also got that one. Want to play it. However, I want to finish playing the original first. Because I like comparing, how, the games change over time. And I got significantly far the first time I played Persona 3, and then my file died, and I didn't finish it. But I own it on... I went and paid, $60 for a PS2 game. So I could play it physically, because the emulator would just chug when I played that game. So I'm like, I will get this. I will pull out my PS2, our old consoles that we play on stream with our original Wii hardware and GameCube hardware and all that stuff. And I'll play that game. So his thing was to make a, spreadsheet. So I used his model. And essentially the idea is make a spreadsheet, put down your options, and then choose them. And then the biggest thing says that don't set a time limit, because that just ruins the experience, because then you feel pressured and, fair. But you also have to learn, like, to discipline yourself to do it so many times. So my idea, and we're going to go over with my computer here in a minute, is that I wrote down, list of stuff to try and help me with my game things. I don't want to necessarily go through my games quickly. I know I'm going to continue to get more. So I think at this point I almost collect Otome games just for the pretty art. And the Otome games have the best limited edition stuff, let me tell you. They give you a lot of stuff for the asking price. And I'm going to pay $80 Canadian, which is like $60 regular, which is the base price for most games nowadays. And I can, instead of just getting the base game, get a base game with 6 keychains and a bonus music disc and a folding fan and an art book. Why wouldn't I? It doesn't matter if I like the game or not. That's bang for your buck. Also, again, it's an Otome game. If people don't know that, it's, pretty anime art for guys, and I like looking at nice artwork. So, that's that. I never found a limited edition for the one, physical one I've actually played, a pathway through. So, essentially, the idea is that I'm, I want to try and, find a way to start going through my backlog. So, I was thinking that I need to start, I think, being on stream more often. I need to do it on my own some more often, because we obviously still do our stuff on Tuesdays with Malins here. I want to work back up to having Thursdays as well. But we'll see. And I just want to, I feel like streaming my progress will keep me more accountable. So, my other thing is, I'm going to go through on my computer here, my list of games. I want to try and get, maybe, 2 games a month. I'll explain it when I have my spreadsheet in a minute. But I would like to be able to do that, and I could stream it just to hold myself accountable. Even if no one's there, even no one's there to watch, discuss, I can at least go and be like, hey, this is how it is. And more importantly, I can time myself how long I spend playing a game. Because something I'm going to write about my blog post in a little bit is, I was doing okay playing with, scheduled time when I was trying to do Valkyria Chronicles. But then I went in and, I resisted for a while, but then I went to go and play Star Rail. Just to jump back into it, see what happens, play some quests, simple things. And I kind of just fell into a rabbit hole there. Which wasn't a bad thing. Again, I would love to make a story about that one too. I got a video idea for that as well. Is that, I enjoyed my time with it, but that was what I went and did for days on days, just spending all day playing that game. And, which is amazing for a free game. And, I lost my schedule, other things happened, we got busy, and I wasn't doing my daily thing anymore, I wasn't writing my blog, and then you feel guilty, so you just don't do it more because you don't want to address that. I have, rejection sensitivity or whatever it is. It's, failure dysphoria or something like that. Essentially saying that, when I perceive I failed to do something or I've disappointed someone, it can, manifest as physical pain for me, practically. It's why, honestly, playing D&D is such a very dangerous experience for me on a mental level sometimes. The feeling that I've angered someone or disappointed them or missed out on an opportunity can do horrible things to my, psychology and my body. So I remember that's why I had to stop playing for 1DM that, I knew in college, because I might lose stress. Even though he says, oh, there's no things here, you can just go do it, be fearless, and, don't be afraid of failure. I'm like, you don't understand. My brain chemicals are, in a way that, I'm not afraid necessarily. I'm just literally hurting when I perceive this thing happens. I'm someone that would have, a meltdown over missing homework because I felt that, not because I was worried about the grade, because I felt I had failed, in some way. Yeah, that's a thing for a therapist for another day. But, point being is that, I got behind my schedule, and with my blog, and so it was hard to get back into it. And, I released an article about Power World. I'm pretty proud of that one. I got, 25 views on that, as opposed to the 3 every other one my blog post was getting. I put that in our chat before, for the 4 or so people we have in our chat, that they follow my posts when and if they happen. So, I just got behind it. But I'm like, I feel like if I could find a way, I would have to do it like daily. Like, try different times of the days. I'm usually more productive in the mornings, so maybe I go and like from 9 to 12 or something like that. I get up here, I put the camera on, and even if no one's there, no one can chat with me, no one shows up, I'm just talking for myself, I can at least be accountable to playing a game for that amount of time. Because I don't want to turn into a work or a chore, but I also want to... I don't put enough time for myself, ever. But if I see it as something I'm providing for someone else, I'm more motivated to do it. Gotta take my tea again. That I feel I could do it more. Like, if I feel like I have, like, viewers or people who are watching or people who would join me in chat. I don't know, maybe Mercy would just show up and chat for a little bit again. That was fun the one time we did that. And I feel I'd be more driven to do that than if I was just like, oh, well, I'll go upstairs to play games because I enjoy games and I have fun doing them and they're, like, a life-changing experience for me. You know, that I can't convince myself of that, but it's like, oh, I want to go up there and, you know, someone might come and chat with me, then that's more motivation. Or I could even do it after I take the dogs in from, like, the 2 to 4 o'clock area. And obviously still doing the ones with Malin in the evening. You know, we like to keep doing that. But I'm like, I feel like if I did it more regularly, and I had a routine, or a schedule at least. I'm horrible with schedules. Schedules literally hurt me in a lot of ways. I tried to write out a schedule the other day, and it just made me feel horrible and, like, mismanaged, and why is it so hard to make a schedule? Everyone else can do this so easily. Why is my brain so busted in this way, you know? That rabbit hole, sure. Or a few people have been down that one before, but... The whole thing is so, like, I'm trying to figure out, you know, a way I can do this. Just so I can try and complete more games. Like, completing a game a month shouldn't be hard. Especially if I put in enough work to get it done. Malin and I beat Persona 5 in like a month. Because we essentially gave up our Sunday every week. It might have been closer to 2 months. Our Sunday every week. We just played Persona 5 all day. And we got through it in like a lot faster than most people I've heard play the game have ever gone through it. But we were just determined to do that. And hyperfocus can work sometimes in your favor. And we've played through Persona 5 3 or 4 times. That's a lot of hours, and we enjoyed it every time. But, like, when we put our brains to something, we can get through that. So I'm like, I kind of want to try and weaponize that in a way, I guess. So, I'm gonna, like, upload in a minute here my, my game log and my game list. And, like, go through and pick out ones I like. But what I would love is some recommendations from other people, like going through games and, like, finding a way to enter them in. And, like, what games do I want to go through? I've already kind of, you know, which ones am I excited for? Like, which ones do I want to try and tackle? Because the problem is that, like, trying to choose from thousands of things is hard. Hundreds of games is hard. But if I could get some people to be like, oh, you need to try that one. I mean, granted it is hard, because I do know I run in generally not the same circles of gameplay as I do with most of my friends, but hey, who knows, maybe you'll get some insight here, maybe you'll get, you know, some random person will pop in, maybe nothing will happen and I'm just here talking for a little while, but that's what we're here to do today, you know? So, like, I want to try and make progress. I was talking about it, I'm just like, I don't know where I feel any sort of fulfillment right now. And so I'm like, I want to try and change that. Like I said, I have things I want to do, I just don't know how to start them. And I get frustrated over trying to plan even the simplest of things, and that just takes it out of me. And then I don't have the energy to do it anymore. So I'm hoping by, like, you know, trying to do this, it's someone else is there on the other end, if someone's listening, or at least I have the idea of someone listening, then I don't feel quite so alone. I don't feel so pressured. I feel a little bit more, like, put together, I guess. Like I'm trying to do something, and we can figure it out from there. And also, it's the beginning of December, so I could arguably get something done this month. But also try and keep things realistic on, like, you know, what I can do, what's reasonable, what's, you know, stuff like that. Like, whatever I'm going to choose for December and stuff like that. Like, I'll show you when I get my spreadsheet up here in a minute, but the thing I'm concerned is, like, you know, I have a slot for, like, potential replays, or, like, you know, right now, Star Wars taking up a lot of my life, you know? I'm playing that a lot. It's in my hyperfixation area right now. And at the very least, I'll be logging in daily to it. So, like, putting in, like, you know, half an hour to several hours that I want to do story quests. Like, if I'm just logging in, I usually can do it half an hour. But, like, story quest, you know, and I really want to sink into that, take a couple hours. So, that would be, I would count that, even though it's a gacha game, a live service game, I guess you could technically say. I would still want to give it that space, because I do think it's the only one of the gacha games I play that I consider as a actual, like, game experience. Like, I pre-ordered to get the physical edition of that game. It'll be out in, like, another year, but, you know, I pre-ordered that because I'm like, this is a game that is free. But I've gotten so much enjoyment out of it that it deserves my, you know, $40 or whatever, however much I paid for it. You know, like, I've paid that much for games I've not gotten nearly as much enjoyment out of. And it's just, you know, I want to start doing stuff, you know? I want to retrospectives, write things. I don't know what to do besides just jumping off and seeing what happens. But, you know, it's hard sometimes. You go and be like, well, I'm also thinking about this because I don't know if anyone else watched the video that I put in the chat. Because I didn't get any responses back besides Malines, but I just put in Jacksepticeye's video about talking about, like, he got an autism diagnosis. And hearing him talk about it, like, literally everything he describes, from, like, the diagnosis process to, like, growing up to, like, everything he describes in that video is literally how I felt for, like, a lot of my life. And he's just become, like, a real, like, online hero for me with his, like, how he's been doing things with, like, mental health and making that more aware, and the fact that he's going on and being, like, you know, talking about, like, the fact that, like, he goes and announces he has his diagnosis, and then, like, you know, some people are like, oh my gosh, why did you say that? And he's like, why not? It's not cancer. It's not something horrible. I want to open up the conversation, and you make people feel seen, using his platform to try and open minds and open discussions, and I respect him a lot for that. He's someone that, like, I would obviously be too shy to meet in person, but I would like to meet in person potentially, just because I like what he's trying to do. So that's the other reason I've been thinking about my life a lot lately, is him talking about that and being like, man, you know, like, masking and stuff like that, like, the stuff you put up, like, to try and do things. And, you know, I love the culture of YouTube for the most part. It has some nasty areas, but I'm like, I would like to be part of that and to, like, share things and discussion with things and just interact with people, because I'm not great with social situations. I can't read social cues very well. I get worn out very easily from, like, discussions that aren't my favorite interests. But, like, writing things, discussing my favorite, like, topics, trying to teach people, that's my way of, like, interacting with the world, of trying to build bonds with people. So I want to just find a way I can do that, you know? And with videos, with gameplay, with streaming on here, and, you know, oversharing, and, you know, stuff like, I want to find a way to do that. And so, watching, if you haven't, if you're part of our Discord chat, definitely look at it. It's a good video. I thought it was very honest, very authentic. He's just kind of been one of my favorite YouTubers lately. He's always been in, you know, like, everyone. We grew up watching him and Markiplier, you know, speaking of old YouTube accounts in middle school. Like, in recent years, he's just, like, really, like, what he does, I think, is good. So it just has me thinking about stuff and being like, if he can do that, I should be able to do that. And I don't know, just want having that time of year, time of week, whatever it is, where I'm just feeling like I want to do something, and I feel like I'm not doing anything, where I don't have anything I feel I'm proud of, you know. Gotta take a tea break again. That's good. So this backlog idea, this backlog plan, before I further spiral down that rabbit hole, is my way of trying to tackle that a little bit. So I'm going to switch screens over here in a minute, because I need to plug my computer in. move my little Flareon guy out of the way. You sit there, buddy. And still got this thing hooked up from when I talked about D&D characters last week, which I wrote out some more stuff for. I'm still not certain on anything. It will really depend on, I mean, it's far away, but, like, I think, that's the other thing that sometimes, like, distracts me, is I'm like, D&D stuff, I like doing that, but, you know, sometimes it also is like, well, if I'm splitting my energy every which way, you know, and it's not often, but just every once in a while you do a lot of stuff for D&D, and then you're like, I don't feel like I got any amount of, like, kickback out of that I put into it. And sometimes that's just people being tired. But, you know, the things that you think about. There are things that you think about, is all I say about that. I'm thinking about schedules, I'm thinking about D&D, I'm thinking about people and stuff. And my nose is running, which is great. So I'm just thinking about stuff. See if I can open up my other backlog thing. Alright, where's my backlog? So, I just thinking about a lot of stuff lately, and like, D&D is something I can allow myself to, and, you know, so it will be nice to go and play it, like, as a character, and I'm kind of going between two of my characters right now. Like, I like all four concepts. I'm leaning stronger on two of them than two others for, like, story or, like, mechanic reasons, but still can't make a decision quite yet. But then I'm, like, thinking about my own campaign and, you know, what we're doing for that, and, like, trying to maybe get another session in before our next one on the 21st, which is going to be a longer one, and, you know, I was talking to Mallory about it and being like, man, for such a simple quest, this has taken so long. And granted, I did throw a lot of little side quest things in there just to give our party something to do, but at the same time I'm like, man, I do not know how to tell a concise story, and I think that tires people out sometimes. At the very least, it tires me out sometimes. Because you're like, you write this whole big thing, and telling stories, making art, is such a thing of vulnerability. It really is, because you're putting this thing that you put your heart and soul into, and you're offering it up to people, and essentially saying, hey, react to this, / please like it, / you know, like, you know, I hope you enjoy this, I put a lot of effort into it, and if, you know, whatever the reaction is usually not what you picture in your mind, so you have to, like, temper your expectations, but you're also putting yourself out there for criticism, too, and sometimes you go and be like, I've been building this up for so long, I hope that when we actually figure it out, everyone is somewhat interested in this. Even not fully interested, like, somewhat interested in this. I hope people will be like, okay, this makes sense, or it's convoluted, or, you know. You can't picture it, is the thing, you know. You can't do a session with, well, Christy usually do. Yeah. I'm not opposed to that. Certainly not opposed to that. It's, yeah, I think too much. This is my problem on Sunday. I go and give myself, like, so much anxiety. Okay, let's see if I can back up my thing. Let me export my game list. That's going to be uploading for a minute here, but let me switch out my view. So I honestly haven't looked at this in a while. Like, originally I grabbed this with the idea of, like, I'm going to do this with the blog, and I'm going to be scheduled and disciplined, and the one thing that you always bring up whenever we're on here is that, again, we live in a pretty close-knit family, generally, so we, like, you know, have our own stuff we do, but we're always kind of in this state of, like, fight or flight, ready to go, Because at any given time, something crazy can go happening with someone else in our family, and we have to just drop everything and run. Which, you know, is not necessarily bad. We're used to that. We've done it for a while. But, it means it's hard sometimes to set up a routine. Ugh, let's see if I can switch this thing over. Alright, is that visible now? That's good. Cool. And maybe if I get bored of talking, I'll play something, or I'll crochet. I don't know yet. This was very spur of the moment sort of vibes. So anyway. So here's what we're looking at the moment. I haven't added a lot of my recent purchases here, so I'm going to have to update this later, but this is just kind of give an idea of what I'm working with. So, like, the original version of this was, like, you know, 500 somethings. More now, because I definitely bought things in that time. And then, like, I got all these other games here, which this was me condensing it down. Of games I liked, but, like, wasn't sure that I wanted to play. And so, what he came up with was this idea. Essentially, was I'm borrowing it from you know, Daryl Talks Games. I'm allowed to use this because he said, by all means, you know, try to make your own spreadsheet. Man, my throat, bro. I'm doing my best here. I also got me these little rice cake things, which are pretty good. So I'm gonna try and eat those. So, here's the idea. That's my thing still uploading. So, here's the thing that he came up with. Essentially, like I said, ideally doing 2 games a month or something like that. So the idea, we have the red slot here, what I call specialty. Those are things that, like, I might play on stream exclusively. I might be playing it with the intention of making a video. I might be playing it because it's new. I might have other reasons. But just, whatever. The idea of a backlog title, like which one I do, but I also have a backlog alt, so that if I get bored of one of them, or you don't want to, some games you don't want to rush through. Most JRPGs are this way. Sometimes you play something for a while, then you'll need like a cleanser, so you try something else. So like, a backlog going. Then I have something called replay slot, which could be a game that I just, you know, I haven't played in a while and I want to replay some. So often, I've gone and, like, replayed different Pokemon games, like, on Nuzlocke rules, because I just feel like I need something like that. So, like, I'll leave, like, a slot for that. Or, like, in this case, I would put in the replay slot, like, I would put, like, Star Rail, for instance. I play that a lot on and off. It's not something I'm going to be... Hey, what's up?
You streaming?
Yeah. I just wanted to talk to someone, so...
Please.
You can see Madeline, she's walking.
Work.
Thank you. My nose is running, and my airways hurt.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, we started singing Away in a Major for a prayer, and at the end I was like,
what? I did not, I just heard prayer, and I was like, Away in a Manger, and like, originally I was like, what is that? I'm like, oh, that's a song. I'm so confused on what that was for a moment.
that's our, like, lunch prayer for the month. Not my favorite.
I told you, you guys need to do one prayer, and then switch the prayer maybe after Christmas.
But that means I'd have to do more work, and that's too much work for me.
You're already doing more work having to learn these prayers.
I know, I did morning meeting again this morning.
Anyway.
Well, I'm gonna go let the dogs up, but there was, like, a huge fire.
Yeah, Mary and I were just talking about that. She said Dana said it that way.
Yeah, we saw the first fire truck, then we stopped at Costco to get gas, and we saw 5 fire trucks.
She lives.
And then we saw, like, 2 or 3 water trucks. Oh, you don't normally see those out.
Yeah, the
so
ones
that was
that
really cool.
can pump into the thing.
Yeah.
Did you actually see any sort of fire?
There was smoke in the woods. It looked like a wildfire. Or, like, somebody was camping. Or, you know how, like, they sometimes have, like, those homeless encampments where people, like, make shelters and stuff by gas
Yeah.
stations.
Or just people being idiots.
It kind of looked like that. Yeah, we thought, or it could be some dumb kids because I think there's a
We
house
have
back
dumb
there.
kids next door who light things on fire.
Anyway, Costco has a zillion people in it.
I was gonna ask you to stop. I was like, a cookie'd be nice, but I'm like, I wouldn't make them stop if they're having a lot of crap and stuff.
No, I also brought you tea, but I will go get it because I didn't know you were streaming. I can bring it up. I thought you were in a Discord call, so I was just gonna join. And I turned my notifications off on my phone because there was just. It's like as soon as I go back to work, I have like 6,000 notifications. I have like 20 text messages, like 60 Discord notifications, and it's from like my Neopets group chat, so stuff I want to check. But I was like, I'm just getting so many all the time, so I turned my phone, my notifications off.
Sure.
So I didn't know what you were doing. I saw you just be like, hey guys, and I was like, okay, anyways.
I said, I'm sick, I'm sad, but I want to talk about this new project idea I have.
Well, I'll let you keep talking. I'm gonna go take the dogs out, and I'll come up and paint with you.
But I was watching this guy's video earlier today about backlogs. I'm like, let me try and have a plan. You see this? I wrote down, I tried to do bullet points.
Try harder.
I got like 3 or 4 words per bullet point. I think that's the
Oh,
best.
yeah, I actually really can't see, so I didn't know that.
But I was trying to do bullet points to be like, I feel like sad and no fulfillment in my life, so let me write it down ways of trying to tackle that. So,
We have another person who's interested in our childcare services. In case you're wondering.
awesome. That probably is the way we're going to make money for the rest of our lives.
Now, you want to say a third offer? That's nice. I was like, in theory, I won't be doing childcare next year, but we always get, by the time, that's what I said last year, too.
Well, as long as it's not preschool childcare and band childcare, then it's really
Yeah, individual childcare is way different.
There's a difference. As
Yeah.
long as it's well-paying childcare, that's
Nice. Yes, it is.
Sorry to interrupt your stream.
It's really just Meredith, so
Okay.
Yeah.
you say hi.
Hi, Meredith. We got Danny cookies.
Yeah, I picked. We went to Costco, so I got him the cookies. They're in our car. Whenever you guys want them.
Yep, a whole big box. And I'm losing my voice as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got whatever the two bozos had, and now it's spread onto the other two, which is like a sore throat and a cough, and you lose your voice. Hi.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go downstairs. I am going to make, you'll be happy to hear, Evie, cream chicken gravy and biscuits. We thought that would be good comfort food.
It is. Do you want the overhead light on or this light?
I don't remember.
This one's just not as warm toned.
I would do it either way.
Painting check.
Mountain's painting.
Where's the other one? So, in the time that I was supposed to get 20 paintings now, which realistically was something I could do, I ended up only getting 1.5. Wow.
Well, realistically, you would have gone 20 minutes.
I could have because they're all 4x6s, and those only take me like 20 minutes.
No,
most
but I
of
think
them.
realistically 10 would have been like two people.
Well, in one afternoon before the break, when I was just doing like after coming home from like Jameson or something, I did get like 4 done in a day. So it's not unrealistic. I was over the week, I was supposed to get 20 done over the week.
Oh, alright.
Which I was like, I could do that. And then I ended up getting 1. And so I will go let the puppies out and probably pee. And then lay down. Right now I'm running on like my second wind of adrenaline and exhaustion.
Yeah, I'm just talking about life purposes and stuff like that, so you can always
Okay.
jump in on that conversation.
That's okay, I'm already clinically depressed, so I don't need any help. I'm going to the bathroom though.
Yeah, they got you like a whole thing of cookies. My mom just stopped from Costco, so she loves you guys too, so. I'm just here talking about my video games backlog and trying to figure out what games to play and just chat with people because I'm lonely. And while sick, yes. Hey, you guys have been good to us, so my mom is good to you. Like, I don't know if that's the reason my parents are so friendly when they're just like, hey, you know, you liked our weirdo. so now we're gonna, like, take care of you and get you food and stuff like that, but, yeah. We're all kind of dying slowly, but they stopped to get cookies, so they got you cookies. They got us cookies, too. It wasn't, like, entirely selfless. They were getting cookies for us, but they also got cookies for you, so you guys got cookies at our house now, at some point. Anyway. But, yeah, something's going around right now. It's always December. December is when the sicknesses hits really hard. Like, if you somehow avoid them... Up until this point, December is when it hits, let me tell you, bro. December is when it hits. Because that's the way it always is for us. Like, you manage to get through October, you manage to get through November. Oh, no, Stitch. You manage to get through November. But if you've missed everything up until that point, it'll get you in December. That's like when the adrenaline wears off and you're ready to die. As long as Mally's December wasn't like, well, December just started, so we'll see. Month is still very young. But she is coming off of a sickness, so hopefully she'll at least get a week. If nothing else. So, it's me and my mom there, kind of like dying today, which I'm dying today. Anyway, but while I was in the process of dying, I was, like I said before, watching my things, and watching these videos about tackling your backlog. So I want to try and start tackling my backlog. Honestly, if I didn't have so many games, I'd put them on a wheel and spin it. I have a lot of games to look through. So I'm trying to figure out some backlog games to tackle, and which ones I'm like excited to play. So I think I'm gonna go through my list, and I'd love to hear opinions from the crowd on like yay or nay on some games. And I'm just gonna list out the ones that off the top of my head I can remember wanting to play and wanting to play soon. A couple that we're gonna immediately take off because I know I want to are the ones that are still in the boxes in my room. Like, I know I want to play Mad for Raid Fantasio. I'm so excited to play that. It looks great. The reason I haven't... Oops. I've been here for a while because my computer went off. The reason I haven't is because Madeline wanted to play that with me. Like, as in I play it and she is there to watch it. And we haven't done that, so... That's the reason I haven't started it. But I got the super special, like, fancy big edition, so you know. I'm intending to enjoy that game.
There you go, Pookie. It's brown sugar, sweet foam, almond milk.
Nice. They love me so much.
I do love you, Evie. You are my Evie. Yeah, this is the pseudo me.
It's you know...
It's me, but more lively looking.
Exactly.
The blanket on, because it's cold. Alright. I'm just gonna I'm gonna take the dogs out and do Neopets downstairs if you need me to bring them in.
Okay. Boba break. This is how we've been getting through this year, is, you know, cookies and tea of the sweet variety. Anyway, so what I'm thinking going through, and like another one that's not on, is Sonic and Shadow Generations. If we can, I want to start playing that one tomorrow. So that'll be a stream game. But otherwise, I'm just going to go through my list and go and do essentially what this guy did. Was that he went, you do like 3 layers. You go through the games the first time, be like, which ones sound interesting to me right now? / which ones do I own just because I own them, but I'm not actually wanting to play them anytime soon. Like, I got a handful of DS games I got just because I'm like, yeah, Sonic Hype. It's taken long enough that I keep seeing news about it. They just released a new trailer for the 3 movie, and they just showed what sort of, like, special edition stuff they're going to have in the AMC movie theaters. So, just saying. I'm getting hype. I'm getting ready to go. You know? So, I gotta start playing my Sonic game soon. So, tomorrow will be the goal. I'm done bumming around. We bummed around pretty much majority of November. I'm ready to start playing the game. So, those two are off the table, obviously. But I'm gonna look through what I have on the docket, what I own. I'm gonna go through first pass what games I am interested in playing reasonably soon. And then I'm gonna go through after that and try and whittle it down again and be like, okay, I'm looking for purely new experiences. I'll put replay versus regular play, because there are definitely a lot of games I own that I want to replay at some point. So I'm going to try and do 2 lists in that regards. And you guys are essentially just here to kind of keep me focused, like horse blinders, because I'll digress so much otherwise. Then after that, I want to go and maybe look and be like, okay, well, which these games do I see myself tackling very soon? What are their scores? How long the beat? That sort of stuff. So I'm essentially we're gonna do spreadsheets with Google for however long it takes. Probably won't take terribly long, I imagine, but essentially I'm looking, and I would also be open to, that's why I have this little thing here. Specialty would be obviously something I want to stream, but it could also be something that someone recommends, you're you really need to play this game. Baldur's Gate 3 is not on the table because I don't own it yet, unless the sale happens to happen soon. I've been looking, it's not been on sale. And so I've just not gotten it. But it's also a game I know I'm going to play, so, But any other recommendations that small, easy, or I have it, You hear me chewing my boba? I'm sure. This is probably really obnoxious. I don't know how high I have this mic on right now, honestly. It's pretty good with the almond milk. I appreciate it. Alright, let's see if I can find my... I just uploaded my current up-to-date backlog, so let me see if I can find that. Let's also get a Google Doc open up here. So the idea is I'm going to try and pare this down. So we're going to have a couple of things open. I hope that everyone can see I have currently 60 tabs open. I'm actually doing pretty good because I only have 2 windows open. Normally I have 3 of those. So I'm actually doing pretty good considering a lot of these were just open for Black Friday. Okay, let's see. Where's the one I just opened? Is it this one? Don't know what that is. There's also, watch me try and figure out how to work with spreadsheets. People always tell me that these things are going to make your life so organized. I'm just like, my brain is just organized enough that chaos bothers it, but not organized enough that actually organization is easy for it. I like watching those things that are online that I'm like, yeah, I could have had the good at math autism, instead I got the knows every kind of Pokemon autism. Which is great. Okay, let's see if I can export this. Different kind. Spreadsheets do nothing for me, but he'll have to show me his magic with spreadsheets then, because Madeline likes them generally. She's more organized than I am on a lot of things. My mom definitely also is a kind of a doc person. I'm kind of I like organization. I like putting things into piles. The problem is I don't know how to be brief with anything in my life. So I'll do like what Mallory was talking about. Like I'll make bullet points, but then write whole paragraphs for each bullet point. You're like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of doing the bullet points in the first place, now doesn't it? I'll be like, yeah, I know. Anyway, let's see if I can get this thing working. All right. So we got this as a spreadsheet. So we got a lot of games here. I'm going to open up 2 different sheets, and I'm just asking you guys to be moral support, kind of. Or give your opinions. Things that like, if I pass over something that you're like, oh, I heard good things about that game. Because I've had some of these games for years at this point, so I can't always remember exactly what, why I bought all of them. Some of them I just bought because they were on sale. Okay, so this document will be for the, let's see. This will be the replay games list. And this one will be the, new games list. Okay, so, I'm trying to get a little better condition, a little better safe position here, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to do this. Because also there are some things, like you see down here, like I have 2 versions of Sonic Frontiers, because I got a Steel Edition, so like there are going to be some repeats on here, so it's not entirely as long as it looks. Some of these are repeats. Or, you know, like, I have multiple editions of a handful of games. But I feel like doing this not by myself will make it feel a little bit easier of a task. Because then I won't feel like I'm, you know, in a void. Put Mr. Waffle over there for now. Alright, so let's see here. Physical collection. Well, yeah. Again, point is that some of them are repeats, so. And also, this includes, I more or less included all the ones I have digitally. I try to keep up with that on my Switch. There aren't a lot. I don't buy a lot of digital games. Some of them are just games that, like, I want to try, but I'm not that so driven to buy a physical of them. So there are a few digital on here, and not many, though, I don't think. So, let's see. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I bought this for $30. It's now on sale for like $15, and that annoys me so much. I bought that just because I wanted to be able to fly on a Banshee, because I thought that was cool. So I think it's an open world game. Would it help if I googled these to, like, see what the cover looks like at least? Would that help with, like, visually would that help? I know this right now for me, this is a lot of black and white text. Would it be helpful to go and, I don't need these open right now. Would it be helpful to go and, like, look up in an extra tab what the cover is of, like, these games? To, like, you know, would that be helpful? For this as a viewing experience. I'm taking another drink break. I was supposed to say the ones that I got, like, I know that I have coming in, but they aren't here yet. Let me see what games I bought for Black Friday that I don't have yet. Well, let me put 2 down that I think I need to put down as a special case right now. So, I'm going to put that one under replay. So, I'm going to list here. I'm going to put down Genshin Impact and Star Rail for a reason. So the reason I'm putting these 2 down here for the replay one is that another game, like, video series thing I would love to do is kind of as my own way to kind of come to terms with my, like, varying experiences with these 2 games, is I want to do a series of like videos or something, some way to compare and contrast these two games. Like on like a point by point level. I don't know if anyone would care, and if it would just be for my own craziness. But like I want to go and like compare the two. Like the first, like, you know, area by area, characters by character, like what they give you for the first characters in the games, what the main character is, their storyline, the first area, how well it's designed, the music, the first boss. Like I would like to go on like under the microscope sort of approach of comparing these two games. Not as a way to tear one down necessarily. Kind of, it's be my way to be like, I love like Genshin Impact as a concept, and I love its characters, designs, and like its world ideas. I really like it from like a conceptual level. I just have trouble enjoying it as a game. So I'm wondering if I went and looked at it a little bit more analytically, scientifically, sort of, so to speak, if I'd be able to like enjoy it more, or at least get out of the first area so I can enjoy it more. But, you know, because sometimes, you know, a lot of JRPGs especially have a cold open in the beginning where you have to... Astral Chain is a big one. Astral Chain was very hard in the beginning. Like, the first mission or two where you don't really have control of your legion, your combat buddy, combat sucks. It's hard, you die easily, but then after you get, like, your like, you start unlocking combos, it just finds a flow state where it's just the most satisfying thing ever to play. But it definitely does kind of suck for those first hour or two, those first two missions. So I'm going to put those on here. Those are two I want to replay, as in I want to start a new game on both of them. And that would be something I would do on stream. I don't know if it's something I would do with Madeline. I want to do everything with Madeline. I want her to experience things. But, you know, it might come down to it like I might do it for me. And that might be what it is. I would love to do it and discuss with other people. But that's something I might do on stream where I go and, like, just so I could record the footage. And I would like to start from a new game. And I would like to, I probably start as a girl in both games, because I feel like if I can, like, relate to the character, I'm more likely to immerse myself. I started as a boy and originally in Genshin Impact, and I'm wondering if maybe that's the reason why I don't feel connected to the main character. So I'm going to restart the game. I'm going to start with just, like, you know, the beginning things. I won't be pulling for any units, at least in the beginning. And I want to just compare the two games on base value to see how, like, they compare and contrast. And try and give them both an equal chance. Like, did I love Star Rail in the beginning just because I had a great experience? Or was it because I was bored at the time? Was I emotional at the time? Was there something that made me view that game so much better? And, you know, was I in a bad point? Did I get annoyed for some reason with Genshin? Is that the reason I have a kind of a negative taste in my mouth for that game? I would like to compare those things. So those two will go on the replay list for now. So I haven't gotten a response yet, whether to look up, like, you know, covers for this to try and, like, that's not the right one. Going in the wrong direction. Sorry. But, I'll pull it up just for the sake of pulling it up, because that might, you know, just be useful. So, let's see, we got Avatar, Frontiers, Pandora. So, yeah. The whole reason I wanted to do this is that, again, it's one of those... I bought this because I do like me a good customizable character. I do like making a character. I do like adding accessories onto them and making them feel and like having them grow. I'm gonna and let me make a third list actually here, so I have somewhere to put it. Let's say this will be a I blow my nose for the fourth time. This will be the for later list. These are the ones that I'm not like in a rush to play right now, and so I'll wait for later. So I'm gonna put this one on the for later list because I'm not in any rush to play it right now. Okay, let's see. Battle Wonderworld. I have this. Battle Wonderworld is another game that I have in like 4 different editions of. Can we organize these by... Okay, yeah, they're organized. So this is mine on the PlayStation. So this is a game I want to replay on some point on the PS5. So we played on the PS4. I think I briefly played on the Switch. But this is a game that we really... This was our first big game for streaming. This is where we like met Ixie. This is where we got a lot of our viewers the first time because we played Balan Wonderworld when it was first coming out. So, but that was a game that we had really fond memories of, and we loved. But the rest of the, if anyone was on YouTube at the time, they tore this game apart unnecessarily. So I think it has its flaws, but not nearly. It was the butt of every joke. Like, sometimes I really get annoyed with the internet and social media. Because the amount of dogpiling and bandwagon, like, slander people get on sometimes is just unnecessary. Like, be angry about something. Maybe that you didn't get the product you were promised, but the fact that, like, some people still use it as a joke of like, oh, I've seen horrible things, I've been through rough experiences, and I played Balan Wonderworld. Like, it was not that. I wouldn't say it's a bad game at all, but even if it didn't, it was like a kid's platformer. Do you go and beat up on a kid's platformer because it's not like, you know, the next Mario? No, because it never tried to be. It's a great experience if you open yourself up to it. So that's a game I would definitely want to replay at some point to, again, write some sort of video on. Okay, so Demons, what's this one? Okay, let's see what this one looks like. I think this is something I got Malin for Christmas, because this has Malin and my games. I think this is a fighting game. Yeah, this looks like a fighting game. Malin and I got into Demon Slayer for a little bit. I watched the first season. I think the animation was beautiful. Although Malin then told me how the entire story goes, and I don't think I can stay in that much tragedy, because I don't like it where everyone dies in the end. I mean, they have a happy ending, but these type of games, you know, are just kind of like the ones that like, no one's getting out of this unscathed. So put that for the later one. I also don't really want to play a fighting game right now. So this is one I just got. I did just buy Mutant Chronicles 100 Heroes, because I've been following this one guy who's really excited for the game, so, you know, sometimes you just get into it. So, this is apparently a spiritual successor to another game. I don't know a ton about it, besides it's a JRPG of some sort. So, I don't know, I don't know a lot about this game. Let's see if we can find some images. I just bought this game because it was on sale. So, from what I understand, it's supposed to be a turn-based game. Yeah, and the idea is that you have, like, you can have, like, recruit 100 different heroes, and they all have different, like, stories and stuff like that. I love the guy has, like, the whole, like, crooks thing for his weapon attack. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's see. Looks interesting. We'll put that on the new games list for now. I can't really remember a whole lot about it, but we'll put that on the new games list for now. I'm going to narrow it down later, but I want to play that at some point. Okay, let's see what else we got. Eternites. I think I remember what this one is. So let's see. Google's in its holiday thing. Oh yeah, I remember this one. So this one, if I remember correctly, it's actually by an indie developer, if I remember right. So this is the one everyone like was relating to Persona 5. Because if I remember correctly, it has like action combat, but it's also like a dating sim. So that's why a lot of people relate it to Persona 5. Persona 5 is so much more than you know, that. But, so yeah, you have a relationships, but you also have like these fighting things you do, which I think are main combats. You have your main character. You're essentially the world's ending. You were attacked by an alien, and so now you're fighting. It's kind of part visual novel, part like dating sim, but also like combat. So yeah, we'll put that on the new games list for now. Okay, Ever Forward. Let's see what that one is. I don't recognize that name at all. This list will take so long to get through, but at the very least, I'm going to try and make progress here, as long as I have people in the chat to act as my, my people to be like, don't get distracted. Okay, let's see what Ever Forward is. Okay. What type of game is it? Adventure puzzle game. Alright. I vaguely remember this. I think I got this one on sale for like $10 a long while ago. Looks like a puzzle game of some sort. Probably has some sort of deeper meaning. It kind of looks, honestly, the graphics kind of look like Mirror's Edge. Alright, so is there anything, let me see if I can find anything about reviews. I don't know anything about this game. Okay, let's see if we can find some reviews here. Alright, so 65. I don't usually go on scores, but let's see what some of the higher ones say. You've kind of a warm, touching story about relationship between mother and daughter. Too short, but not without problems. Well-designed puzzles, chance to put problem skills, spatial awareness. Game is short, 2 hours. So that could be a plus. If it's a short game, it might not be hard to get through. I'm going to put it on the for later pile for now. But, let's see. Okay, so this one I do remember as well. This one actually, I think... Gosh, did I have to import this from PlayAsia? I don't even remember. But I remember getting this game. I was so close to... So, this is the deluxe edition. It has 2 games in one. I originally wanted... When I originally looked up this game, a while back, I saw it for, Switch. So, I originally wanted the special edition of the game that was for this version right here. You see this one? It has these 2 characters. You can see them a little bit better here. You see these 2 characters? I saw the cover for this in a shop or something, and I'm like, you know, I'm all about this art style. I'm all about this vibe. So you go between fighting monsters or playing politics. And I'm also down for a guy who has, like, you know, low ponytail. Always love that. So I was going to get a special edition of that game until I realized that there is a PS5 double pack that has this one as well as the previous game. Because apparently there were 2 in the series. Which is Fallen Legion, can't read right there, but it has a... There's 2 games, the point is. Both of them have to deal with the fact that you go between 2 perspectives, and one is like a turn-based gameplay, you can kind of see here. And the other one's like, well, not really turn-based, but strategy-ish, kind of. And then the other one is like visual novel-ish, and so you go between the 2 perspectives in order to push the story forward. So I thought it was a novel concept. I also just really like the art style. I think it has a pretty art style to it. So yeah, I think I would like to play that at some point. Okay, put that there. Alright. I think we've gone through like 6 games. We're doing so good. Forspoken. That also sounds familiar, but I don't recognize it. What is Forspoken? So I'm gonna have to... Forspoken. Oh, I just got this one. I literally just bought this on sale. I've heard a lot of interesting things about this game. Not in a good way, but like, I remember everyone being really interested in this game for a while, and then it like dropped off the face of the map. Like its graphics look cool. I remember its combat looking cool. I don't know if it was buggy or something, but I'm like, everyone was like looking forward to this game, and then like its demo came out, and then everyone was against this game. And again, I don't put much stock on what people say about games, because again, let's look at like, you know, Balan Wonderworld here, you know, like that was a game that everyone hated but we loved. So I always try and be like, I don't judge a game until I've played it myself and determined it sucks. But I got this because it was like $10. I just bought this one. So, looks like an action, I think I remember it was an action game. Okay, we're going to put this one in the for later one just because I just bought this, so I'm not in a rush to play it right now. My nose won't stop running, which is great. Okay, let's look at this. Grand Blue Flash Relic. I also believe I just bought this one recently, like a month ago maybe. Because I got the deluxe edition, that's what I meant. Because it has a cool dragon on the front. I am also someone who will very much, like, I almost got this version but it was honestly just, it was a little too expensive. If this had been like closer to 100 or even 120, I would have gone it, because like I like that it comes with the little dragon, but the little dragon was too small for the price. If I'm asking 180, I expect a little bit bigger of a figure, so I just got the deluxe edition. But I'm definitely someone who will always buy something because it of a cool cover. So this is an RPG that I remember correctly, like an action RPG, which are very hit or miss for me, honestly. Sometimes I like them, sometimes I like exploring, sometimes I like combat, and other times, like when I was trying to play the Use series earlier, I have trouble getting into it. So I don't really know anything about this game, like its story. I believe it's part of a series. I remember for a long time it was like in development hell or something like that. Like, if people kept like, it's coming this year for sure. Like, it's the reason I heard about it for that reason. Okay, let's see what it says here. Yeah, best time to be streaming is when you're sick. But I want to try and do this task for once, and this is the best way I know to do it. So we got, let's see. Okay, whatever. I'm just trying to look for more about the game. Just want to know more about the game. Is there like a trailer or something? I picked this up because I like this art style. I pick up actually a lot of games that remind me of like Fire Emblem in terms of having this very hand-drawn art style. It's what I like about JRPGs, is that they look, okay, there's a little trailer right there, there's something. I like the fact they have this fantasy aspect to it, because I don't like games that are like medieval but too realistic. I'm not gonna play Ario, but oh yeah, and they have like a little dragon character in this one. So I'm not gonna play this with the sound on, but I'm gonna watch this thing. Graphics look good on it. See, I don't mind action RPGs that like have like good combos. As long as it isn't like, press one button and then press another button and then like stuff like that. Some action RPGs I played are like, they got some cool dragons in there. Are like, you press this one button and then you only ever have this one attack, so you essentially have to button mash. Okay, that looks kind of cool. I don't know what the story's about, but it looks like an action RPG, if I had to take a guess. So we'll put that one in the new games pile. That one looks pretty good. Alright, let's see. I think we've gone through like 10 games. Hogwarts Legacy I'm going to skip because that's actually not my game, that's Olivia's game, so we're not going to... Don't need to add something extra to this. So what's the... I think I remember this one kind of, because I remember watching someone review it, and that's why I picked it up. So this was during my period when I was like really into Dragon Quest XI. I really got into like that style of gameplay and combat. So let's see. So you see here, apparently this is based off of like manga or anime or something. So if I remember correctly, this game is I think it's a beat 'em up. I can't quite remember. Yeah, a video game based on an anime based on a video game. That's what's funny about this game. So it's a video game based on an anime that's based off of a video game in the first place. So there was an anime based off a video game in the Dragon Quest series, apparently. And then this video game is based off of that. So I don't remember if this was well received or not. I got it from PlayAsia, I believe. It was like a markdown like things. So I remember correctly, this game is like one of those like you fight in like an arena against people sort of vibes. I think that I have this for PS5. Okay, so like I'm not gonna play with sound because obviously I don't want to get copyright, but I'm just see if this will show me any. I'm gonna skip a little bit here. I just want to see if this shows any gameplay. Yeah. No, I want to see. Can you show me gameplay? Oh, you look at the artist who does the Dragon Quest series is a very distinctive style. Yeah, that's the thing. Those are the Dragon Quest monsters. That's why I recognize this game. So it's like fighting in an arena sort of thing. And yeah, there's like 4 playable characters if I remember correctly. So you like go through different fight. And the thing is like, so this is a very action RPG. You have the different Dragon Quest sort of monsters. That guy looks ridiculous. I admit, I don't really like the art style of the Dragon Quest series, to be entirely honest. I actually found it a little off-putting. But the reason I got so into it was because I fell absolutely head over heels in love with Dragon Quest XI. That's another game I would happily replay. Because it's just such well-written characters, honestly. That, like, I didn't really care about the art style after a while, because the characters were so good. So this looks like a fighting sort of game. So I do want to play this at some point. I think we're going to put this on for later list for now, because, something has to go there. I do want to get to that at some point. But I don't think that's it for now, separate game. Okay, Marvel's Garden. I do remember getting this for Christmas, like, last year. Let's take a look at this one. I do remember looking at this one, and again, kind of the same with the Avatar one. It's like, it looked like a fun, like, horror adventure game. I did hear good things about this game. I think it was action-based. I think this one's supposed to be like kind of like Mass Effect. Yeah, whatever. Just show me the gameplay. Okay, yeah. You got the combat or something? Okay, so I think it's supposed to be an action-adventure sort of game, and this uses the Guardians of the Galaxy from, like, the actual comics, not from like, the Marvel movies. So yeah, you got some adventure game going on here. There's the combat right there. Switching between party members. Got some ship fighting. That happens to me a lot. Getting died randomly in action things. I remember looking at this and again thinking, being like, this reminds me, like, kind of Mass Effect, because I've been playing Mass Effect at the time. I did hear it was good gameplay. I think it had a good story. I can't really remember. Okay. We can put that on the new games list. That one looks interesting. Alright, I'm trying to also have some variety of games. I'm not playing it, so we're skipping over ReFantasia because I already kind of did something with this. Monarch is one that I remember looking. This was another one of those games that I definitely like saw the art style and immediately liked it just because of the art style. So it has, obviously, for anyone who knows me, I love a good black and white aesthetic. So this game has, this is supposed to be a strategy RPG sort of game. I've heard very mixed reviews about it. But sometimes that is also just kind of hard to tell. Some people are really for it and some people are really not. So I remember buying this one. It's supposed to be like kind of a darker Persona game where it has to do with bonds and stuff like that, and it obviously has this whole chess aesthetic. So this is like a turn-based RPG. I'm gonna put that in the new games one. I do want to play that at some point. It just seems like a very me sort of game. I think I remember what this one is. This one, yeah, I think. This one was another one I got just because it was very highly, I don't know anything about One Piece. This is another one that's like a JRPG, so it's turn-based combat. I always like good turn-based combat. So I remember I got this one because it was pretty highly ranked at the time. Someone who I was watching on YouTube was playing it and spoke highly of it. I'm going to put that on the for later one because I'll come to it eventually. It's just, we're trying to cut things down here. So Persona 3 Reload, we're not even going to bother. That one obviously goes on the new games list. I do want to play that at some point. Try and speed this up a little bit. So we did actually already start playing Resident Evil Village. We'll put that on a replay one for now, because I would love to do a video on it at some point, or some sort of like thing on it, but I'm not going to be playing it right now. Okay. Scarlet Nexus, if I remember correctly, is... We got this because it's by the same people who did Astral Chain, and we loved Astral Chain. Like, I literally bought this. It went on sale weeks later, but I bought this at close to full price. Because at the time we had just finished our second playthrough of Astral Chain. We're like, this is literally just like that. I believe there's also an anime on it. But I believe it's supposed to have like the same similar action combat to Astral Chain, so we'll put that one on the new games list. Alright, Shimigami. Okay, so this one we're gonna put on the for later because I have not played 5. So obviously I'm not going to play Vengeance. I bought Vengeance for like the asking price just because I love the steelbook. Never buy Atlas games full price. I do it every time. But inevitably they always go on sale for like half or lower. As soon as like it can be Black Friday, it can be Christmas, it might just be their like anniversary or something like that. Atlas games go on sale all the time. And I always forget that. Okay, so. I'm going to put Sonic Frontiers under replay because that's one I definitely want to play on stream at some point. Sonic Frontiers is a really fun game, and I want Melanie to play it at some point, so we'll put that on the replay. Sonic Superstars, I'm not even going to put that one. We played that on stream. We did not like it. It was very difficult to play. So we're not going to put out Sonic X Generations we've already spoken about. Soundfall. Soundfall. I don't know what that is. It says I have this for PS4, but I could have swore I had this on the Switch. This one, I think, was like an action, like, sound point. Like, it's like kind of like that one game where you, like, if you did it to the beat of the combat to the beat of the music, that you were, like, more powerful. It's kind of a top-down action game. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna put that for later. I don't really feel like playing one of those right now. Alright, Star Ocean Divine Force. This is another game I remember buying purely because I thought the art style was cool. Like, sometimes I go and just, like, will watch a direct and, like, watch some trailers for the games and, like, watch how the cutscenes move. And I'll literally go and be like, okay, I'm buying this now because I thought, I don't know, like, this character looked cool in a cutscene or something like that. I'll buy things, like, I would probably looked at this character and was like, hey, this person has cool robes. I think that's awesome. I'm going to get this game if it ever goes on sale. But I don't actually know anything about the combat. This is also part of a series. Apparently, I generally do not care about chronologically taking on games unless it matters. Or there's like a notable distinction in what happened with the series. So like, first, one of my favorite series, I played Fire Emblem. I started technically with the 8th entry, which technically was only the second one in the West, but still, it was not the first one, and I definitely played them out of order. As long as the series where that matters is fine. But then there's other ones that I'm kind of weird about, like the Tales series. Because the Tales series, kind of like Final Fantasy now, has gone through a genre shift. Where it was originally like side-scroller combat, and then it turned into like 3D action combat. Like Final Fantasy used to be a turn-based RPG, and then now it's kind of an action RPG. Throat is just getting worn out by this. So, I believe this is the most recent entry. I remember there was another one they just released. That was a re-release. That was like a remaster. I did buy that one as well, just because, again, I thought the artwork looked cool. I don't actually know anything about this game as a game, though. Action role-playing game, okay. This is the 6th major installment. Man, I wish someone had played this, could give me a little bit more. That's why I wish I had a sometimes larger audience, just so I'd be like, hey, is anyone out there, can you give me a little bit more information about some of these games? Who's fighting from... I think I do vaguely remember that this is one of those games that has like a split storyline, which I do love. I do love split storyline, because then I feel more attached to my main characters, that I feel like I have like a choice between what happens. Yeah, we'll put that one on the new game ones. I'd like to play that at some point. I will say, by choosing this one, I will say if I find any other Star Ocean games I have on my backlog, we'll save those. Another kind of rule I'm going to implement here is that if it's for a series I've not played before, I'm going to try and start with one in the series to see if I like it. Then I'll come back to it. Okay, so here's a good example here. Is Tales of Arise. So, the Tales series I did just bring up. I, interestingly enough, have already kind of been introduced to this series because I watched the anime for the Tales of Zestiria game. And so I actually bought Tales of Zestiria. At the time, I remember everyone saying how much it sucked. Apparently it was a bad game or something. And I thought that was interesting because I was like, oh, hey, that's weird because I actually really liked the anime. I thought the characters were pretty cool. So I am going to play it. So Tales of Arise I'm putting, we're going to put on for later, for right now. I do want to play that one. However, I do want to play, I kind of want to go in an order for Tales. So I have Tales of the Abyss, which is the earliest game in the series I have. Like, it's always better to play the older ones before the newer ones. Because, at the very least, it goes and gives you, like... it isn't necessarily even a quality thing for me. It's more like seeing where the series started and where it went. Like, I didn't start with the earliest Pokemon games. But, like, I went back to it to kind of tell how it changed. Same things with Fire Emblem. And, because usually, like, trying to go backwards is harder. Like, trying to go... I'm glad I started with Persona 3 and then went to Persona 5. Even if I didn't complete Persona 3 originally. Because then it gives you an idea of how the series has changed. Persona 3 is a much more rough game because just it's not balanced yet. This was like their first foray into the whole high school dating simulator thing. So, it's just, I want to play Tales of the Abyss first. I have it for 3DS. Which is apparently, like, one of their last games that, like, did the side attack, scrolling, whatever. And then they went to the 3D ones later. Then I want to play Tales of Zestiria. And then I'll play Tales of Arise. But You know, I'm actually going to put Tales of Arise on this game one, because I do want to play Tales of Arise. It's the one that I looked at and it was like, yes, I want to try this. I just want to play Tales of the Zestiria first. Because, again, that's the game that I originally thought was cool based on the characters. And then, like, you know, there's a bunch of other Tales games that I've bought many Tales games because I want to play them because their characters look cool. And they all apparently have some good stories. But, like, I don't want to start with the best one first. You know, sometimes it's actually better to start with, like, a lower ranking entry because then, like, you can only go up. Like, I start with Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And I love that game. And turns out apparently it's, like, a black sheep of the franchise that a lot of people, like, don't like it. Or, like, just never gave it a chance. And then, like, trying to go back and play other games, I've not been able to do it because none of them can, like, the unique mechanics that were in Assassin's Creed Syndicate are not present in any other Assassin's Creed games, so I didn't like any other game. It's kind of like the same reason why I would never recommend Fire Emblem Three Houses to someone as their first Fire Emblem game, because it's so different mechanically from the other games in the series. I'm like, if you love this game, you might not like the other ones in the series. So I'm like, if you want to figure out if you like Fire Emblem as a experience, then maybe try Awakening or Engage or Sacred Stones. But like, Three Houses, if you like that one, that's not asking if you would like Fire Emblem experience. It's like, do you like the Persona model with the schools and the raising students? Because that's not something something that only that game has. But I mean, it does it pretty well. Just, you know, I get annoyed sometimes with the people who are like, praise Three Houses, but then are angry at the other games in the series and be like, bro, Three Houses was a blip. It's a great game. It has its flaws for sure, and I will definitely point those out, but it's a good game. It's not a great Fire Emblem game, but it is a good game. So if you like this game, you might feel differently about the rest of the series. So let's see, Duofield Chronic. I believe this is another strategy RPG. I'm not trying to have too many of those on my list because those do take a while to play. Again, another game that I definitely got for the cover art, because I think the cover art is pretty. How about we see how far we've gone by 6 o'clock? See how far I've gone on this journey by 6 o'clock, then we'll call it there and come back and do this again tomorrow. I have so many games. This is not going fast at all, but that's fine. Okay. Fast-paced RPG with quick and fun combat paired with generic stories and some awkward controls. That's fun. Let's see if we can find some images. Okay, so tactical RPG, I'm assuming. I'm always looking for something that reminds me of Fire Emblem but is different. Because Fire Emblem, kind of like Pokemon, was such a, like, trying to find was such a, like, influential game to me that I'm always kind of love those ads. That I'm always looking for something that was that is like similar in vibes. And I still haven't really found anything that quite scratches that itch. I think Dragon Quest XI was like probably the last JRPG that I felt the same sort of immense love for. Yeah, Square Enix, just show me the power. So yeah, got the Square Enix version. So yeah, it's a kind of a war game. I remember that. Because that's the biggest thing that I always am a little concerned about with these kind of tactical strategy games, is that if they get too realistic, then I don't like them. Because the reason I like Fire Emblem so much is not because it's like its best storylines or even necessarily the best characters. It's more the fact of like it's a colorful and kind of whimsical, but also very full of heart RPG. Okay. Because, like, real-world, like, war simulators, I don't have as much fun with because it's just kind of gritty. Same reason I don't really care for shooters. Okay. I'm just watching this trailer right now. And also, because that's kind of the reason I actually really never got into Final Fantasy. It says Final Fantasy has a very like modern look to its fantasy, so it has kind of like this very kind of more realistic, you know, grays and hard metals and stuff like that. Like it looks like it's fantastic, obviously, you know, but it just looks a little like dirtier, I guess is the way I would describe it. So like I have a lot of Final Fantasy games. I want to play them at some point, but like I go and look at them and be like, this is very grungy. Some people like that. I mean, there's a lot of people who, like, that's the whole vibe of like Elden Rings and like Dark Souls. That's their whole art style there, and people really like those. So. So yeah, this looks like a game I want to play at some point. I just don't know if I'm gonna play it right now. It does look interesting. Again, I love the artwork. I just don't know if that's the type of combat I want to play right now. It looks a little bit too complicated. Why do I have that? Let's put that one for later list. Okay, we're now on entry 29. Well, actually 30, because I'm not going to count the quarry. That, again, is Olivia's. Trinity Trigger. I vaguely remember this one, too. This is also another one that I got on, like, Amazon that was, like, special edition for $30. I'm like, well, I can't pass up on that. That's such a deal. So you can see right here, Amazon. $30 when I got it for like the special edition. I'm like, well, obviously I have to get that. Yeah, here it is. I remember getting this because I thought it was cool that you get like little buddies. I love having little pets in a game. I think this is another action RPG kind of dungeon crawler thing. Yeah, and then you like, from what I remember, you like have like your little buddies turn into your weapons. So you have like these little creatures that turn into weapons for you, and you have like 3 characters that you go and fight with. I don't know, after going off of vibes, we're gonna put this on the for later list, just because I'm looking at it. I'm not feeling any particular excitement. Now here's one I do think I will put on my for later. So the Unicorn Overlord. I took a while to get that collector's edition because I wanted the collector's edition on this. This is another one of those games that is definitely one that I looked at and like that could be like a Fire Emblem game. Because like look at this art style. This looks like very fantasy medieval RPG. It looks like a lot like Fire Emblem. And it has like a little pixel art. Like I've never been able to find a game that like itches like gets the same itch as Fire Emblem does. So I'm constantly looking for it. This is one that I definitely saw that I was like. It also has to have that sort of fantastical, romanticized, like, fantasy story for me. Like, I like a good hard-hitting story sometimes, but also sometimes I just like something. That's why I've been enjoying Star Rail so much. Is I'm like it has a good amount of levity even among its dark areas. So I think we'll put this one on the 4-1. Because. Oh, whoops. Okay. Let's see. It's 540 right now. So let's see if I can get to like 40. See if I can get to 40 and we'll call it after that. So Ys 9. Okay, so I have an interesting thing going with the Ys series. So the one I originally bought, I'm not going to do this, I'm actually going to show you the one that was right before this, so I think is... No, that's not the one I'm looking for. This one, Ys 8. I heard so many good reviews about this game. like every JRPG channel that I watched mentioned this game as like a must-play game. On the Switch, on the PS4, it didn't matter. You had to get this game. You had to buy it multiple times. I heard so many good things about it. And on the offset, it does look like a game I would like. It's nice and colorful. It has some exploration, has some colorful characters. People said it has a great story. It's an action RPG, which again, for me, is hit or miss. That's a pretty statue. And like you have to. So the whole thing about the Yeast series that they all follow this guy, had all the red right here, who's your typical silent protagonist. Like very typical silent protagonist. He doesn't really say much. He has like you just thrown into the game. They never give you any sort of like. See, he's got a nice little outfit here. They never really give you a whole lot of explanation of who he is or where he comes from. You can kind of see him in this one too. He has different outfits. He's always the main character of the game. And so everyone says really good things about this game. Problem is, I played this game for I think 8 hours collectively across like 2 weeks. So this one in particular, you go and you get stranded on a deserted island, and then this island has a history. The whole idea is it has to do with this girl here, Donna. You go into the past with her, and there's supposed to be like some connection between these two. Here's the problem I have with this game. I played it like 2 chapter, like kept going for like 8 hours. I was just not clicking with it. I didn't really care for the combat. I was not particularly good at it. I couldn't quite figure it out to the point where I wasn't like constantly dying. The exploration was not really doing it for me, and the characters, none of them were really locking in for me. That I was like, okay, stereotypical girl, stereotypical old guy, you know, like, and don't get me wrong, I love stereotypes. I love cliches. I will definitely still play a game, even if it's like, this is the one, stuck-up rich guy that's like young pretty boy, you know, like, I'll eat that up. I'll take that. I will play for a very small amount of characters. If it's a cliche that I like, I'll play it. Doesn't have to be complicated to me. That's why I like Fire Emblem so much. But I had so much trouble getting into this game. And I looked it up online, and everyone said it gets good by chapter 3. You know, just hold off for chapter 3. That's when the story really gets going. And I was like in chapter 2 somewhere, but the thing is the chapters are broken up in like by parts. So I like complete like 3 different quests in chapter 2, and I'm like, is chapter 2 done yet? Am I at chapter 3 yet? And I had so much trouble getting into it. I was not feeling it. I was like, everyone says this is a great game, but I just can't really get into it. I wasn't very interested with the premise. Maybe it's because I'm not one for like pirate themes. I've never really enjoyed the pirate aesthetic. I'm more for the Old West or like the Clockwork vibes, but I've never been one for pirate aesthetics. I've never been one for like deserted islands. I never really liked that aesthetic. So maybe it's that. Like, the only thing that I remember enjoying was that you got this one guy who had a gun, and he had a very cool hat. And that was the only thing that, like, I kept me playing for a while, was this guy had a really cool hat and potentially mysterious past, and I love me a good mysterious character who has a gun. But I stopped playing because I got, like, stuck on a boss, or I got lost somewhere. So they don't have, like, a world map. I got stuck at something, and so I was like, man, I'm, like, getting to the point where I'm getting frustrated with this game. It was like when I was playing Genshin Impact, where I'm like, I want to like this game. I really do. But I am struggling to so much. I'm just kind of getting frustrated with it. So, this is a game that I definitely have on my replay list, because I do want to beat it at some point. However, to go back to what I was originally saying, the game that I originally bought was Yeast 9. And the reason I bought this one first, and I actually bought this in the limited edition, it was like $80 for this. It had like a puzzle. It had like a miniature novel. It had an art book. It has all these cool posters. It has a really cool box art, because it's styled after jail. So the idea of this Yeast game, so your main character, little add-all right here, is that this time he's in an area where like there's some sort of curse going around. So these characters called monstrums. They're essentially these humans that have some sort of like dark power that turns them into like a pseudo monster. And the idea is that he gets infected with this curse as well while he's there, which makes him into a fugitive and an outlaw. And while I don't love the pirate aesthetic, I do love being a fugitive of the law. I do love being the outcast and the renegade. This is the thing I actually loved so much about Persona 5. I like being the outcast who's fighting for what's right. I love being a fugitive on the run. So I'm going to put this on my playlist because I do want to play this game. I'm wondering if I play this game, because my biggest issue with playing Ys 8, I'm almost getting some of my therapy out here with these characters. I couldn't find a connection to my main character or any of the supporting cast, so the gameplay being all that was left, I was like just not connecting. I'm hoping if I play this game instead, where the concept as a whole interests me more. Because again, the artwork of these character designs is really cool. They have these are them in their like monster versions. It just looks really cool. So I'm hoping by doing it in a storyline where he's like, has like a half monster transformation and he's a fugitive, I might come to bond with the main character a little bit more. And then, I might come to enjoy it a little bit more. I might like either get into the gameplay more or like at the very least enjoy the world a little bit more. Because again, the other thing that bothers me is that technically you can jump anywhere you want in the Ys series, but they do have a chronological order. It doesn't matter because Adol is supposed to be like a, nameless protagonist. He's just a hero, plain and simple. But hypothetically, you don't need any prior knowledge, but also prior knowledge seems to help. So I'm going to put this one to my playlist because I do want to try. I have like 4 entries in the Ys series. 4 or 5 entries in the Ys series. And so I do want to play them at some point, but I think I need the right entry game to, kind of like what Dragon Quest XI was for me. I have to have a game that makes me like the series, if I'm going to like the series, and then I can go backwards and be like, okay, let me try and beat this. Let me try some other entries. That's what I had to do for Fire Emblem, is that I originally loved, if I had started with any game besides Sacred Stones, I probably wouldn't have loved the series as much. Okay, had in time we did beat. Ace Attorney's Collection, I'm not going to put, I'll put it under replay because this is something I want to play on stream at some point. I would love, I don't know if you guys would like it, but I would love to go through all the Ace Attorney games on stream because they're a really good set of games. Also, and the main characters are very gay, so. Gotta love that, but. This is another one that I got special edition for recently that I really want to play. I played the first Ace Attorney's Investigation, which is all about Edgeworth. He's the lawyer guy. The one in the red outfit. But the first one was really good. The second one's apparently supposed to be even better. So I do want to play those ones at some point. Okay, here's where we're starting to get into some of the digital ones. Come on. So now we're starting to get into some Switch games here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all these ones that are coming up are like flying simulators. This is back when like for streaming I was thinking of doing like a series, like a 30-minute like review channel of like, hey, I play a game, like, I play these mobile games or these like digital games for like 30 minutes and then give reviews on them. Obviously that plan never came to fruition, so I have a lot of these digital games I want to play at some point, but they're all like flying simulators. I'm gonna put those on for later for now, just because I'm kind of looking to get some big names off my thing. Pretty sure all these are flying simulators. I can play them at some point, but they're like nothing I'm like really. They're good like journey games, like they're good like relaxing games, but I'm like, there's nothing I'm really like drawn to start playing with these ones right now. So I'm just gonna put all 3 of these on there. I'll come back to those later. Alright, what else we got here? AI the Somnium Files. Okay, this is definitely one I want to play at some point. This is a game I remember, it was after me and mine had just beaten Danganronpa 3, I believe. This is one that people relate to that one, as far as it's a detective thriller sort of game. Essentially the genre that was created by Ace Attorney. And so you go and, like, investigate... You're supposed to investigate, like, you know, crime scenes, and you go and look for, like, clues and stuff like that. Supposed to be crime mystery. Like, the one I actually originally got into the series for is that I saw a trailer for this one, and I thought that looked cool, and then I realized this is a sequel. It's a direct sequel to the original one. So you have, like, this detective guy, and he has, like, this AI intelligence thing in his eye, for whatever reason. And they solve crimes, apparently. So, it's apparently supposed to be, like, the more M-rated version of Danganronpa, which is interesting, because Danganronpa on its own is already kind of interesting territory for games. I feel it's, like, the more adult version, I guess. So we're going to put this one on for later, because obviously I can't play the sequel until I play the first one. So, Animal Crossing. Do you guys ever want to see me play Animal Crossing? I had an island. I didn't do much with it. But I like the villagers I had. I just never built it. Put that on there. Maybe I'll play that on stream at some point. Okay. Another Code Recollection, I believe, is another mystery game. Like, again, I love Ace Attorney so much that I was kind of like looking for games that are similar to that. So another Code Recollection, I believe, is another one of those mystery puzzle games. This one is one that I looked at and I was just like, man, this actually looks pretty cool. Like, the art... This is apparently a remake of a pair of Wii games, I think. So it's actually 2 games. But it's supposed to be puzzle games. I hear they're not very hard. So this might be a good, like, you know, palate cleanser game to have on there. Another one I imported just because it wasn't very much. So we have the Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. So I haven't played this game at all, but I'm going to put it on the replay one because that's also one that I would probably want to do on stream at some point. Okay. Go through, I think, let's try and get to 3 or 4 more games, and then we're going to call it for now, because I need to eat dinner at 6. But, if anyone's still here, still listening, still watching, I don't know if everyone's here or anyone left, but I'm just talking to myself. But that's honestly why I came on stream today. I just needed to be held accountable, and I feel like working through this, even if it's slowly, is important. So yeah, this is one of those little pixel games. Another indie games, turn-based. I don't remember a lot about this game, to be entirely honest. Okay, we're gonna judge this game based on appearances. I'm just gonna wait on this game because this kind of reminds me that I want to play Sea of Stars before I play this game, so we're gonna put this on the wait for later one. Sea of Stars is definitely one that needs to get on the new game list when we get there, but... Okay, Arietta, or Spirits, let's see what this one looks like. Because some of these are ones that I literally just found on sale on the Nintendo Switch, like, eShop. But, you know, like, they're just to get in play at some point, but I don't want to play with them necessarily soon. Okay. I do remember this one's supposed to be, like, an action one. And I got this because I love a game where you have a little buddy. Yes, this looks like an action RPG. So we're gonna put that in for later, too. What else we got here? Rise, a simple story. I think this is another one that I got for like $5 or something like that, or less, on the eShop. Yeah, it's supposed to have a really impactful, moving story. The puzzle game, I think. I don't know, it looks cool, but I'm just not feeling it. If you don't want to play something, you don't want to play something, so that'll go for the later ones for now. Okay, Ari and the Secret this season, so let's see what this one is. See if we can get to like 50. Alright, yeah, so I remember this one as well. I think this is also a action RPG. I've seen this one in, I did not realize, apparently this is actually a girl. I did not realize that. It doesn't look like a girl at first glance, so and Ari could go either way, so. It looks like an action RPG. I believe there's another indie game I got on sale. Yeah, we're just gonna put that in the If I'm not immediately looking and being like conflicted, like, oh, should I play this or not, then it's not going anywhere. If you're not feeling it, then you don't put it on the list, because I'm trying to cut things down here is the point. Okay, this is, again, I think another puzzle platformer game I need to play at some point. Okay, we're also going to put this one for later then. Okay. Astral Chain. I would love to play Astral Chain again, but, you know, we don't need to do that. Astral Chain was a fun game, though. We had a lot of fun with that one on stream. I'll put it on the replay one, because I enjoyed that game so much. That was a good game. I'll put that for the replay one. We might replay it at some point. It's a good game. Astria Ascending. I think I remember this one. This is another action, or maybe it's a turn-based one. Oh yeah, this is a turn-based combat one. It's by this one studio that has this very distinctive art style. You can kind of see. I do remember this one being a turn-based one, but I also remember they say it has like a really high like level curve. So like it starts okay, but then it gets like really hard really quickly. Okay, we're just gonna put that in for later right now, because I need to say no to some of these JRPGs, or I'm never gonna get through all of them. Okay, so this is a good place to stop, because we're gonna go with the Atelier. So, my thoughts about the Atelier. So, as you can see, I have a lot of this. So, these two are 3 games. That's 6 games right there. 7, 8, 9, 10. That's actually, yeah, so 9, 10, 11. I have 11 Atelier games. And, because 2 of them are triple packs I got from imports. They don't have them here, but you get like 3 games in one bundle. So I got them, you know, it was like, I think, $200 for 9 games, which is not bad at all, honestly. Especially not Switch games. So, I want to play this at some point. I tried playing Atelier Ryza, because that's the one everyone has spoken so highly from. But much like Ys 8, I had so much trouble getting into it and really sinking my teeth into it. Not necessarily because it was bad. It actually is because, like, the main character, Ryza, I thought she was really annoying, and she was kind of mean to her friends. Like, she never listens to them, she doesn't pay attention to them, she kind of gets them into trouble a lot, and never takes responsibility for, like, anything. She's kind of lazy. So I just didn't really like her as a character. A lot of people like her because she's got a lot of thigh, she's wearing booty shorts. I mean, it's the internet. You better believe why people like her, but I want to come back and beat Ryza at some point, because the gameplay does look really good. I just could not figure the combat out to save my life, literally. And I didn't really like Ryza in the beginning. Apparently she gets better later, but I just had trouble getting into it. But I do want to play the Atelier series, because apparently they're really good cozy games, and I honestly need some good cozy games in between my other games. So the one we're going to go with here is this one, Atelier Marie, which apparently is like the first one. But it has a remake that has this cute little art style. And apparently it's a lot easier than the other ones. So a lot of people have said it's like a good starter point. So I'm like, I had issues getting... It's also... I mean, come on, look, she looks so cute. I had a lot of trouble getting into Atelier Ryza. But I'm like, maybe if I play this one, I'll be able to get into it a little easier. Like, another one I want to play is the Dusk Trilogy, because this one is, like the middle game of the Dusk Trilogy. The only reason I remember it is because it's, like, the only time you can play as a boy. And while generally I do like playing as girls, because then I can, like, kind of insert my, like, own consciousness into them, I also like playing as a guy a lot of times. Especially when you're in these cutesy games that have, like, very sexualized women sometimes. The other thing that was off-putting in Atelier Ryza, they have this one character named Lila who has, like, the biggest boobs ever. Like, unrealistically huge. And it was one of the things like Madeline where I'm like, that just made me feel uncomfortable. And she wasn't even wearing a shirt. She just had wraps on. And I'm just like, your chest is so huge. It's really just distracting. The only reason I actually didn't hate her was because she's paired up with another guy who has this really cool coat on that looks like Robin from Fire Emblem. And I was like, and he has a, like a monocle. I love me a good long coat and monocle combo, especially with silver hair. That's the reason I'm not, like, immediately discounting Ryza. I would play the rest of the game just to figure out who that character is, just because I'm like, I do love a mage looking guy or girl, honestly, anyone who has a nice coat. So we're gonna put Atelier Marie on here, because I do want to get into the Atelier series, but Marie's the most recent one. It's supposed to be very newcomer friendly and hopefully won't be as big of an investment. And then I would like to come back to Ryza. So we're also gonna put Ryza on the replay list because I do want to come back to that one at some point. I have started it. I do want to come back to it eventually. Okay. And I think we're gonna stop there. So we stopped here. We're at entry 55, technically speaking. All these other ones I'm gonna leave here for now, because these are all 9 games. And the newest Atelier game looks really cool because it has some cool combat looks things. So we're gonna leave that there for now. So we've gone through 55 entries of, let's see, 55 entries of 507. Nice. Oh boy. So this will probably be a multiple stream sort of thing. But I don't know, I think just taking it small chunks at a time like this will be helpful. And I can just start like slowly wheeling through and be like, okay, which of these I'm going to have to work through. Obviously, it's kind of hard to do it by myself, so that's why I'm kind of trying to get like some other conversation going. And maybe Malin will play the game tomorrow and I'll do this in the background, but I'll switch the camera over here for a minute. Let's close this up. I don't need my computer on anymore. Let me switch over our cameras to our talking cam. I'll talk for a few minutes here. Oh, we've been going for 2 hours. Go me. So, again, I kind of brought this up at the beginning. But the whole thing is that I am just trying to figure out more to do with myself. I want to try and feel productive. I want to start getting through my games. I want to start enjoying games again and not seeing them as like my guilty pleasure in the bad way. Like as in I won't allow myself to play them. Even though it's like, hey, everyone else has hobbies, and, you know, just because this hobby looks better on paper than me playing video games is not a big thing. I just want to start attacking this problem and feel like I have somewhere to go with it. Because I want to be writing more, I want to be doing stuff on my blog, I want to be enjoying games again, but also not rushing to beat them either. So, like, I'm going to find some games to start playing for, like, this month. And maybe it'll just be one. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get through this list, but I got a lot to go through, obviously. It's going to take some time. To be fair, I'd only started looking at my list, like, after an hour and a half, so if I actually started off with looking at the list, it probably wouldn't be so long. But, like, I'll play games, but, like, you know, I was trying to get through Valkyria Chronicles, which I need to go back and keep playing, but, you know, I think I need to start making more of a concerted effort, be more disciplined about playing games on a regular basis. And, you know, not being afraid to go be like, hey, Ixie, I've just, to give the basic thing, I'm going over, my backlog and trying to decide which games I'm going to play in the future. So, I actually just popped off of my, laptop, which I've been staring at for the last, half an hour to an hour of my backlog of 500 games. And trying to nail them down. So I'm glad you're able to stop by. I'm going to be logging off in a few minutes anyway, so. But glad to see you. I might try streaming early in the day. Like, tomorrow obviously I have to nanny, so we will be doing our usual Tuesday evening stream, but like maybe Wednesday I'll try, like, you know, a morning stream, like, you know, 9 to 11 or something like that, or I don't know yet. Point is I'm just trying to feel like I'm doing more. I feel like I'm not, you know, doing nothing. I'm trying to work through some stuff right now, and this is my way of trying to attack it, so I appreciate anyone who's able to stop by and talk to me. Because, honestly, I just want to chat sometimes. But I'd also like to play games, and I'd like to enjoy things more, you know, but before I can really go forward and start playing games, I think I do need to have a solid plan working out. I didn't going into this blog thing, which is why I think it fell apart so quickly. So I think I need to go into this with an actual plan this time, and just, like, you know, you go at it, figure it out, play more games, and like, I would love to play, just do my dailies on Star Rail with you guys. I really enjoy that game, and I would love for someone else to enjoy it with me, even if you're just there for the vibes. But, you know, I got a lot of stuff I want to do, and I want to start, you know, doing stuff and actually feeling accomplished. I told Melanie before, that I'm like, I do a lot of things, I make a lot of things, but I don't know if there's many that I would go up to someone and be like, I'm proud of this, I can show this to you, and I'm proud of this, and you'll understand it, and, you know, this will make sense. Like, I have some Pokemon stories I really like, but they're not things I just show to anyone. I'm like, I would like to make some more things that I'm proud of, and that, like, mean something to me, that make me feel like, you know, have worth. And, you know, you don't attach yourself to your accomplishments, but, you know, I just want to try and do more. Or at least feel more organized. So I'm going to stop here for now. I need to go eat. And after this, maybe I'll go play Star Rail. But, definitely my hyperfixation at the moment. But, maybe I'll crochet on some streams. I don't know if you guys would like that or not, but I could, you know, set up, I'll sit in the other chair and I can do a crochet thing. You can just watch me making plushies or potion bottles, as I'm doing often. But, you know, I feel like I need to do something different. Maybe it's just being the sick talking, but I'm like, I feel like I just need to do something else for now. And just, you know, if I want to make this streaming thing work, then maybe I just gotta be on stream more often. I might need to try different times of day, and I don't know. I don't know how humans work. I don't know how social media works, even though I kind of do know it on, like, a mechanical level. But I'm like, when you try to chase after something like followers or views and stuff like that, it becomes work, it becomes a chore, it becomes a job. You don't enjoy it anymore. And honestly, I do so much in an everyday that is a work, that's an obligation, that's me caring for people, and I don't mind doing it. I feel I need to do more things that are just for fun, that are just for enjoyment, for the release, for the positive emotions, and I feel I don't do enough of those things right now. Maybe it's just the seasonal depression talking, but I'm like, I just need to do more to, you know, enjoy myself these days. So, this is my first step for doing that. Thank you for anyone who came and chatted. I appreciate you guys being here. Even if you're not, you know, leaving a bunch of, like, messages and stuff like that. Even if you're just listening to me in the background of whatever other task you're doing. I'm happy we were able to spend some time here and able to just hang out and chill together. Where I'm just kind of figuring this all out. And we'll get better every day. So, we'll be here tomorrow, Tuesday, hopefully playing Sonic X Shadow Generations. That'll be nice to play that tomorrow. So, we'll see how that goes. So anyway, thanks for everyone for here, who stopped by, who came to talk, who came to listen. Love all you guys. So, I'm gonna get up now so I can hit the off button on our screen, going from one camera to the next. Anyway, so, thanks guys.